Welcome, gents. Some people burn bridges thinking they're teaching a lesson, only to realize they were standing on the bridge themselves. Let's be real. Most people have no idea what they're getting into when they mess with a Sigma male. He's not loud, he's not out here making noise, and he's definitely not someone who needs constant attention. That quiet presence. It's not weakness, it's restraint. And when you cross him, you won't get the chaos you're used to. You'll get silence, space, and a version of him you'll never touch again. This isn't about revenge, it's about standards. It's about a man who doesn't explain himself, doesn't beg to be understood, and doesn't waste energy proving anything. Once you show him who you are, he believes you and moves accordingly. Now to the Sigma females watching this isn't just about understanding the Sigma male. This is also about recognizing yourself in these truths, because you are this energy in your own way. You've been the one who walked away without causing a scene. You've been the one who turned pain into growth. And you've definitely been the one who upgraded silently while they watched from a distance. Don't ever shrink that. Don't second guess it. Own it. This video is packed with brutal, honest, eye-opening truths that people need to hear, but probably won't like. Watch it till the end. Let it confirm what you've always known in your gut. When you mess with someone who needs nothing from you, you lose more than you realize. Let's begin, gents. Number 1. You won't see the revenge, you'll just feel the fallout. Here's the thing about a Sigma male. He doesn't do messy drama. He won't yell, won't throw a tantrum, won't try to humiliate you in public. That's not his style. If you wrong him, you won't see him coming back with loud payback or some big emotional breakdown. No, what you'll get is silence. And not the kind that begs for attention. It's the kind that makes you nervous, unsettled, wondering what's happening behind the scenes, because his revenge, it's not flashy, it's calculated, surgical, and worst of all, it's delayed. By the time you realize he's retaliated, the damage is already done, and it won't look like revenge at all. It'll feel like life just stopped working for you. Things that used to flow don't. Doors you used to walk through, locked, opportunities that seemed guaranteed, gone, and you won't even know how or when it happened. All you'll feel is the shift, the drop in energy, the cold. That's what makes it brutal. A Sigma male's payback is quiet, but it cuts deep. Not because he's cruel, but because he's intentional. When he decides he's done with you, he unplugs his presence like it's a power source. And suddenly you're sitting in the dark. You won't be blocked. You'll just be forgotten. You won't be cursed out. You'll just be erased from the script. And that emptiness, that's your punishment. Because what people don't realize is, the moment you cross a Sigma male, he doesn't fight back. He removes you from his time, his energy, his future. And nothing is more terrifying than knowing someone didn't even need to raise their voice to shut you down completely. Messing with a Sigma male won't blow up in your face. It'll fade you out like background noise, and you'll feel it long after he's gone. Number 2, you'll become a lesson, not a loss. Here's a truth that'll sting if you've ever messed with a Sigma male. You might think you broke his heart, shattered something deep, left a dent he'll carry forever. But in reality, you didn't. You just taught him something, and once he learns, he never forgets. To him, you're not the one that got away. You're the experience that made him sharper. See, Sigma males don't dwell in self-pity. They process the pain, study it, dissect it, and then turn it into fuel. While you're busy wondering if he misses you, he's already adjusted the blueprint of his life to make sure someone like you never gets that close again. He doesn't replay old messages hoping for a reunion. He rewatches the story to extract the flaw in his boundaries. He doesn't mourn the connection. He analyzes the access he gave too easily. And then he locks that door for good. The truth is, what you see as the end of something rare, he sees as an upgrade in progress. He doesn't treat it like a loss because he doesn't view people as possessions. If you showed him your true colors in the worst way, you weren't his to begin with. You were just part of his learning curve. And that's what makes Sigma males powerful. They don't crash from betrayal, they calibrate. You became the lesson that taught him to choose better, move smarter, and protect his peace with fiercer standards. The cold part? You won't get to see the version of him that your actions created, that new, elevated version. He'll offer that to someone who actually deserves it. So, if you ever thought he'd be stuck on you, torn up or stuck in regret, think again. You weren't a loss, you were a lesson, and trust me, he learned it well. Number 3, you can't win an ego battle with someone who's killed his own. Trying to hurt a Sigma male by attacking his ego is like throwing punches at smoke. It's not even there to hit. While most people are walking around with their egos out front like a shield, a Sigma male already buried his years ago, not because he's weak, because he outgrew the need for it. He doesn't need applause to feel worthy. He doesn't need followers to feel seen. And he definitely doesn't need validation from someone who's trying to control, shame, or manipulate him. That kind of noise, he left it behind. So when you try to get a reaction by belittling him, ignoring him, or trying to trigger jealousy, you'll be met with silence, not because he didn't hear you, but because he doesn't play ego games. You're yelling into a void, hoping for fire, and all you'll get is ice. You can't make him feel small because he already did the inner work that most people avoid. He looked at his flaws, faced his insecurities, killed the false pride, and built something deeper, real confidence, the kind that doesn't flinch when you try to poke it. And here's the part that stings. Your usual tactics won't work on him. You'll call him arrogant and he'll smile. You'll try to guilt trip him and he'll disappear. You'll try to make him prove his worth and he'll leave you talking to yourself. Because a Sigma male doesn't need to be right, he needs to be free. And he'll walk away from anything that tries to shrink him into a box he's already outgrown. So if your game is ego warfare, prepare to lose. You can't win a battle against someone who already dismantled their ego brick by brick and turned it into a fortress of self-control. You're not fighting him. You're fighting your own need for power. Number 4, you'll lose access to a mind you didn't deserve. Let's be real. Sigma males aren't loud about how smart they are. They don't need to be. But if you've ever had one in your life, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Their mind, it's different. Sharp, quietly brilliant. They're the type who drop one sentence that makes you rethink everything, who notice patterns, read between the lines, and make connections other people completely miss. Being around a Sigma male is like getting low-key upgraded. You find yourself thinking deeper, questioning more, leveling up without even realizing it. They don't push it in your face. They just have this way of shifting your perspective with a few words, or even just a look. It's not about being a genius, it's about clarity, insight, awareness. And once you've had that kind of influence in your life, it's hard to go back to surface-level conversations and shallow minds. But if you play games with a Sigma male, lie, manipulate, try to control him, you burn that bridge. And here's the brutal part. You don't just lose him, you lose access to that mind, that insight, that energy, and you go right back to where you were before he entered your life. Stuck, confused, surrounded by people who say a lot but mean very little. And no, he won't try to teach you a lesson, he'll just vanish. He knows his mind is a gift, not something to be begged for or explained. If you couldn't respect it, you don't deserve it, period. So when he cuts you off, understand this. It's not revenge, it's correction. It's life showing you what happens when you take depth for granted. Because while you were busy underestimating him, he was quietly showing you a version of yourself you could have become if only you hadn't messed it up. Number 5, he's never the same after the first disrespect. Here's the thing about a Sigma male. He doesn't throw a fit when you disrespect him. He doesn't call you out in the moment, doesn't create a scene. In fact, he might even brush it off like it didn't bother him at all. But don't be fooled, he felt it. He clocked it. And from that moment on, something quietly shifted inside him. You may not notice it right away. He'll still be polite, still calm, still present. But the energy, it's not the same. He's no longer wide open with you. He's watching now, holding back, mentally reorganizing where you stand in his life. You just got downgraded, not with words, but in the way he thinks about you, trusts you, lets you in. See, Sigma males are patient observers. They give people enough space to show who they truly are. But once you reveal that disrespect, whether it's through lying, betrayal, or just treating him like he's disposable, he files it away. And unlike most people, he doesn't forgive and forget. He remembers and readjusts. That version of him who fully trusted you, gone. From that point on, he'll deal with you differently, less vulnerable, less accessible, less invested. You may think things went back to normal because he didn't make a fuss, but what you're seeing is a version of him that's emotionally closed, detached, quietly preparing for an exit you won't see coming. The most chilling part? He doesn't need closure. He doesn't want revenge. He just slowly, surgically lets go. By the time you realize what's happening, it's too late. He's already gone mentally and soon enough, physically. And here's the brutal truth. With a Sigma male, there's no full recovery from that first disrespect. You don't bounce back. You get categorized. And once that shift happens, you never hold the same place in his life again. Number 6, you'll feel replaced, but not by a person, by peace. When most people walk away, they fill the silence with someone else, a rebound, a distraction, something to numb the space you once filled. But a Sigma male doesn't do that. He doesn't go looking for another person to heal him. He goes back to himself. And that's what stings the most. He doesn't replace you with someone better. He replaces you with peace, with purpose, with late nights doing what he loves, with quiet mornings that don't start with arguments or confusion. He replaces the drama with discipline, the noise with focus, the stress with clarity. You were expecting jealousy, maybe even hoping for it. You thought he'd chase, show regret, or prove something, but all you see is calm. He's not bitter, he's not broken, he's just better, evolving, quietly upgrading his entire life like your absence gave him room to breathe again. And here's the part that hits differently. He's not doing it to spite you. He's not posting for attention or trying to win the breakup. He's just done. And instead of filling the void with another person, he reclaims the space you took up and turns it into something meaningful. That's the replacement you didn't see coming. You expected someone else in his arms. What you didn't expect was someone else in his mirror, the new version of him, sharper, stronger, happier, more grounded than ever. And no, it's not a show. That's the scariest part. It's real. And deep down you'll feel it. You were noise. He was peace. And now, without you, he's just returned to what he was before the chaos, only smarter for having survived it. That kind of replacement doesn't just hurt your ego, it makes you question why you ever thought he needed you in the first place. Number 7, he's 10 steps ahead, even when he acts like he's 2 steps behind. Here's where most people mess up with a Sigma male. They mistake his silence for cluelessness. Just because he's not reacting doesn't mean he's not noticing. Just because he's not rushing doesn't mean he's not planning. He doesn't need to flex, show off, or prove anything, because the real power move is staying quiet while everyone else exposes themselves. Sigma males are observers. They study patterns, listen more than they speak, and calculate every move with long-term consequences in mind. So while you think you're getting the upper hand, he's already seen 5 moves ahead and is patiently letting you walk straight into your own trap. That's the scary part. He can play dumb. He can let you think you've got the upper hand. He can let you feel like you're in control. But behind that calm face, he's watching everything. How you talk, how you react, how you shift. And when it's time, he'll strike with such precision that you'll be left speechless, wondering when the tables turned. Truth is, the game was never even. He just let you think it was. By the time you realize he's been playing chess the whole time, your queen's gone, your defense is wrecked, and the board's already collapsing. That's not luck, that's strategy. It's what happens when you play games with someone who doesn't move impulsively but methodically. So if you ever find yourself thinking a Sigma male is out of his depth, think again. He's probably 10 steps ahead, just pacing himself, while you burn your energy trying to impress or manipulate. And when the final move hits, it won't be loud, but it will be final. Because the silent ones, they're usually the ones running the whole damn game. Number 8, he doesn't forgive with words, he forgets with action. With most people, forgiveness comes with a long conversation, maybe even tears, closure, or promises to do better. But a Sigma male doesn't need all that. He's not built for emotional theatrics or drawn-out explanations. If you cross a line with him, you probably won't hear, "I forgive you." What you'll get instead? Silence. And then, nothing. No announcement, no dramatic exit, just slow surgical detachment. One day your messages are left unread or never opened at all. Your name fades from his notifications. He deletes the pictures, clears the chats, and unfollows not just your social media, but your energy, your access, your influence. It's not revenge, it's his version of peace. He forgives in the sense that he doesn't carry hate. He's not walking around bitter or plotting your downfall. He simply lets go in the most complete, no coming back kind of way. You won't hear from him again, not because he's holding a grudge, but because he's moved so far past the situation that your existence no longer fits in his world. And here's what really gets to people. He never needs to say anything. The absence is loud enough. The fact that he doesn't bring you up again, doesn't vent about you, doesn't try to get even, says more than any forgiveness speech ever could. He forgets you by living like you were never there. And trust this, it stings. Not because he's trying to hurt you, but because you slowly realize the weight you thought you had in his life was way lighter than you imagined. And now that he's pulled it away, you're left sitting with the quiet, wondering how someone could disappear from your life so peacefully and so permanently. That's the Sigma male's forgiveness, not loud, not emotional, just final. Number 9, he doesn't fight to prove his worth, he lets absence speak. When most people feel pushed out, they fight harder, they beg, they argue, they over-explain just to be seen, just to prove they matter. But a Sigma male, he doesn't play that game. The moment he feels unwanted, disrespected, or overlooked, he doesn't raise his voice, he disappears. Not as a power move, not to guilt trip you, but because he's wired differently. He refuses to fight for space in someone's life. He's not interested in forcing connections or convincing people to appreciate him. His logic is simple. If you can't see his worth while he's standing in front of you, then you're not meant to have him around at all. And that's when the shift happens. At first you might think his silence is temporary, that he's just cooling off or playing hard to get. But time passes. No calls, no texts, no posts. Just silence, a clean break. And then it creeps in. The realization that this isn't a pause, this is permanent. You'll start noticing the absence, not just physically, but energetically. Conversations feel emptier. Moments that used to feel full now echo with something missing. You'll remember how calm he was, how grounded, how rare that presence actually was. And now it's gone. That's the brutal magic of a Sigma male. He doesn't try to show you what you lost. He removes himself so completely you feel it on your own. And what hurts most? His absence says more than any argument ever could. While others scream to be heard, he just exits, and somehow that quiet says everything. Not because he wanted to hurt you, but because he respects himself enough to never stay where he's undervalued. So if you mess with a Sigma male, don't expect a fight. Expect a vanishing act that leaves you sitting in silence, wishing you had realized his worth before it became a memory. Number 10, you'll realize too late that his presence was a privilege. A Sigma male doesn't enter your life with fireworks. He doesn't come in loud, demanding attention or trying to be your everything overnight. He shows up quietly, calmly, like a breeze you didn't notice at first, but one that made everything feel a little lighter. He doesn't chase connection. He doesn't try to prove his worth. He simply brings value without saying a word. He listens when others talk over you. He observes things others miss. He offers insights that make you pause and rethink. His presence is steady, grounding, safe, but here's where people get it wrong. They confuse his quietness with disposability. Because he doesn't ask for much, you assume he doesn't need much. Because he gives without strings, you assume he'll always be there. And because he doesn't make noise when hurt, you assume it didn't matter, but it did, more than you knew. The harsh truth is this: Sigma males do leave, and when they do, they don't make announcements, they just vanish. No drama, no warning, just silence. And it's in that silence where the regret creeps in. You'll start to feel the gaps he used to fill, the conversations that were deeper when he was around, the advice that made sense, the energy that was calm. You'll notice that no one else quite sees you the way he did, without judgment, without trying to control you, and then it'll hit you. He wasn't just another quiet guy. He was rare, solid, present in a way most people never are. But by the time you realize that, it's too late. He's not bitter. He's not waiting for you to come back. He's already moved on, probably to a version of life that feels even more peaceful without the noise you brought in. His absence becomes your reminder. His presence was never owed to you. It was a privilege, one you didn't recognize until it was gone. Number 11. You'll be haunted by the fact that you never really knew him. At first, being around a Sigma male feels easy. He's calm, low maintenance, and doesn't dump his entire life story on you. He listens more than he talks. He shows up when it matters. He seems simple, straightforward. But once he walks away, something strange happens. You start realizing you never actually knew him. You'll replay old conversations in your head, scroll through texts, stare at pictures, trying to find clues, trying to piece together what was really going on behind those eyes. And that's when it hits you. He was never fully there, not in a fake way, but in a controlled way. He gave you access, but only to what he chose. You got the surface version, the parts he allowed, while the deeper stuff stayed hidden, locked behind walls you never even noticed were there. And the more you think about it, the more uncomfortable it becomes. You realize how much you assumed you understood him, how you thought he was predictable, maybe even a little too quiet. But now you see that every silence had a weight. Every small reaction was measured. Every "I'm good" actually meant "I don't trust you enough to go deeper." And now that he's gone, you feel it. That unsettling itch of unfinished business. The mystery of someone who was always 5 steps ahead while you were busy thinking you had him figured out. That ghost-like feeling where someone leaves your life but somehow their energy lingers. Like a puzzle you can't stop trying to solve. That's the haunting part. You didn't lose someone you knew. You lost someone you thought you knew. And the realization that he never gave you full access, not because he was cold, but because you never earned it, that'll stick with you. Not because he wanted revenge, but because mystery is the most powerful goodbye. Conclusion: harsh truths. About messing with a Sigma male, you'll regret it. Messing with a Sigma male isn't like dealing with anyone else. You're not playing games with someone who needs you, chases attention, or thrives on drama. You're dealing with someone who knows exactly who he is, quietly, deeply, and unapologetically. And once you cross him, there's no explosion, no loud reaction, just silence, distance, and a version of him you'll never have access to again. See, Sigma males don't operate from ego. They're not here to prove a point. They don't need revenge to feel whole. They'll just cut the cord and evolve, while you're left realizing you misunderstood the weight of their presence. You didn't just lose a man, you lost a mind, a mirror, and a rare kind of peace most people spend years trying to find. To the Sigma females watching this is your reflection too. The way you walk away quietly, the way you upgrade silently, the way you don't beg for understanding because you already understand yourself. Don't let this world make you second-guess that power. Keep protecting your energy, not explaining it. Keep evolving in silence, not performing for the crowd. If this hit home, if you've seen these truths play out in real life or within yourself, then you already know this isn't just about Sigma males. It's about the power of self-respect, quiet strength, and walking away without fanfare. So watch the full video. Let it remind you why you never need to prove your worth to people who can't see it. And if you've ever been underestimated, good. Let them. Just make sure they feel your absence louder than they ever heard your voice. Thank you for watching, gents, and God bless you.